Peace, brother BBO. I'm in my damn hair. Oh no, Sean. It done growed on me now, Sean. Peace, brother Sean. Peace, brother Old Mark. Black African Power. Sean crazy. Y'all give me a minute and I'm gonna jump right on into it. If y'all don't mind, help me share the show. That's what I'm trying to do real quick, and we'll jump into it. Let me share it on my page. Tag people. Who else? I just got time from this. Yeah, so I'll tell y'all. Give me just a second. I'm like, give me just a second. All right. Oops. Groups. I don't know why I can't share to these dang groups no more. I go. Now y'all help me share this. I'm not finna do this. I can't. I used to can automatically share all of them at one time. I don't know where I can't do that no more. I don't know. The heck with it. Let me go ahead and get started. Peace, Asiatic Black Man 19. Peace, Sister Kylie. Peace. Who else I missed? Ogun Bolo Yi. Peace. I spoke to everybody else that I see in here. Like I said, y'all help me share the show. But let's go ahead and get started. Peace, grown man, black man. Peace, brother Satep and Ra. Let me see if I got anybody. Okay, Satep. Let me get Satep in here. I'll talk. Promote the panelists. All right, Satep, you in here. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some more people come in. But first I want to say Black African Power. Hold on. I got Brother Vossa. Promote the panelists. And this presentation / discussion is gonna be, anybody can join because I want everybody's output. Y'all see the title. We'll go over the title again in a minute. We jump into the presentation. But again, first I want to say, where is it? It's gone, man. What happened? Hold on, y'all. First, I want to say Black African Power. ETM Hotep. Dual Aku. Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwariri, Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E Ilakba, Majuba Iba E Ilakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. I also want to give honor and praises to the true and living ancestors according to African traditions. You know, I look at everything from an African perspective, the African world view. So peace to those elders that are holding the criteria from an African perspective. And we're going to get into that a little bit today in the presentation as well. I got Brother Satepa Rob, Mary Amen on the panel, Pastor Nicolo Gullah. And again, I'll put the link in the chat. I'll get one of these brothers on the panel to put it in the chat. So if anybody want to join the panel for this presentation slash discussion, um, feel free to jump in because I would like to hear everybody else input also as well. But Brother Satip, Brother Vasa, y'all got anything?
Can you hear me, Kofi?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah, I just want to say peace. Glad to see you active. You know, we've been missing it. I did miss the last show. I was running around, but I'm glad to be on this panel. So, yeah, looking forward to a good discussion today.
All right.
Peace to everybody on the panel. What's up, Satep? And I won't be able to see the YouTube chat today, Kofi. There's a lot going on with the family on this end, so all devices are being used at the moment. But I'm here to listen and learn. And peace to everybody in the audience as of now and in the future.
Okay. Got Brother June, got my brother June on the panel as well. Brother June, you got anything before I jump into it? And peace to the panel, man. Peace, peace, peace to you.
Right. I just want to say peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to everybody tuned in. Hotep. Yeah, I'm excited and just waiting to hear the good stuff, man. Keep it up too. I like your channel, man. You one of the only channels that I could promote, and suggest to my friends. You know what I'm saying? It's pure good information and good content, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate
Hotep.
it, appreciate it. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Like I say, I get one of the brothers on the panel to put it in the chat a little bit later on, or maybe in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And if anybody want to join the panel, they could join the panel. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. Y'all let me know when my screen is sharing and in full screen mode. Okay. Damn, I thought it was. Is my screen sharing, y'all, out there? It may not. It looks like it's sharing. Okay, there it is. Let me close out my uh video if I can. Let me shut my video off. All right, can y'all see the am I sharing my screen? Okay, it's a delay. But let me know in the chat, y'all, if y'all can see my screen. Am I sharing my screen? I don't want to go no further. Peace to J Mixon, peace to Omar Reed, peace to Brother Robert Rand, peace to you, brother. Peace, Brother Zane, my good brother Zane. Matigo, peace, Lamar Pope. Look like I spoke to everybody else in the chat, man. But peace to those that may not be in the chat, but they maybe just viewing peace to those that may be coming to view this presentation slash discussion later on in the archives. Peace and love. All right. Okay, everybody said they see it. Okay, the name of this presentation is called Who Are Your Teachers, Leaders, and Elders in the Conscious Community and Why? This presentation was inspired by my Masi Ira Kurini, NRS Sean California with a show he did, might have been Thursday, a show that he did and some stuff that he's been feeling, some stuff that I've been feeling, and not only stuff that I've been feeling, just some discussion that's been going on between the families, the Masi, the Seshu, the Kofi Piesie affiliates and family. So I just said, let me throw something together, man. And, because we need to have this discussion And I'm a visual person, so I like to put slides together too. So I didn't want it to be just a discussion, but with some slides. But again, who are your teachers? And we had to ask ourselves in this so-called conscious community. And we have to be careful with putting labels, you know what I'm saying, and titles on people as well. You know, so again, who are your teachers, your leaders, and your elders in the conscious community? And why? I want to know who y'all considered in this community that we call the conscious community. Who are your teachers, your leaders, and your elders, and why you say so. I'm going to give you my teachers, my leaders, and my elders according to this so-called conscious community. But before I give you that, I'm gonna have to go through a list of things. So I'm gonna go through a list of things so you can understand why I chose these individuals as my teachers, the leaders, and and elders. And I also want to hear from other people on the panel. Those that may want to join the panel can join the panel, and if you don't want to join the panel, just put your feedback in the chat. I'm gonna try to watch the chat as much as possible. But let's get into the presentation. I always have to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. My disclaimer is I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. This presentation is shut down, sell, or exchange. The terms are used at my own discretion. All trademarks, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, or sigmas, and marks are used or cited by this website or the property of the respected owner. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available and or adapt changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, additions, deletions are encouraged. So I always have to put a disclaimer out here before I get started because I have no problem with people venting my information, combing through my sources. I have no problem if I am in error by any means. I have no problem with correcting that information and saying that I was wrong if I may have put out some misinformation or some outdated information. You know, I'm saying this to say that you know, this was, like I said, it was a great show that Sean did the other day when we was talking about he was talking about correcting the elders, other information that he had, but he was talking about correcting the elders or correcting people in general. I'm a person that has no problem with critique and all, and critique only makes us better. But I know some people may feel like, and it all depends on how people. I may, you know, snap out if somebody comes to me in the wrong way, but I have no problem with people coming to me and they coming to me genuine. You know what I'm saying? And coming to me correct without all the foolishness and without the nonsense. You know, okay, I'll listen. I'll listen, you know what I'm saying? And you point me in the right direction, I'll go in that right direction. Have no problem with humbly saying I was wrong on such and such and not going on the attack and the defense mode. This is my saying as I learn, we all learn. This is another one of my saying, let's get this culture. These are my favorite sayings. These are powerful statements. And I, you know, if you want to know why I choose these sayings and these phrases, just go back and look at a few videos. I go into detail why I chose to keep saying these sayings. This is something else that I would like to, before I get started. Morality is a character. Morality and character comes before intellect. This is by Yara Aneb. I first seen the post when Brother Sanjetti posted it. He actually screen shared Yahara Aneb's post a while back here, and y'all seen it. I did it on the we did a whole series on Kofi Piesie TV called "Good Character, Moral Ethics, and Something." We did 1, 2, 3, and 4. We did four parts on that. Powerful discussion slash presentation. So y'all go check that out as well. So I had that saying on one of the slides on one of the series that we did. But again, this goes over people's head, and this is a powerful saying to me. Morality and character comes before intellect. So let that sink in. All right, we're going to go through a few definitions before we go any further with the discussion slash PowerPoints. Character, the mental or moral quality distinction to the individual. I'm gonna go over some definitions and stuff like that and some other few things. And this is just to set up the discussion, to set up why I chose who I choose to be leaders, why I chose who to be teachers, why I chose those I deem to be worthy to be called elders. I don't throw around titles loosely. But let's get into a character, the mental and moral quality distinction to an individual. Character, a way someone thinks, feel, or behaves, someone's personality, a set of qualities that are shared by many people in the group. Hold on. Make sure y'all let me know on the panel if somebody else raised their hand trying to get in on the panel. A set of qualities that are shared by many people in a group, country, etc. A set of qualities that make a place or thing different from other places and things. I got this from the Merriam-Webster .com dictionary. Character. All right, we're talking about character, so let's talk about good character. And I'm doing this to set up something. I'm doing this to set up something. You know what I'm saying? Or get you to understand my choices. Okay, good character. Good character. Good character. Here's some bullet points for good character. Kingship, kindness, hospitality, generosity, polite, gentleman, humanitarian, morality, and neighborly. I'm going to read these again because good character comes with a list of all these things, an umbrella of all these things right here. I'm going to read it again. Kingship, kindness, hospitality, generosity, polite, gentleman, humanitarian, 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 morality, and neighborly. And I'm saying all these things because, again, I'm setting up something. I'm setting up something. I'm setting up something. And to get you to understand certain things, why I choose not to be involved in certain things, why I don't choose not to be involved in certain platforms, to look at certain platforms, why I deem those some people are not elders, some people are not teachers, some people are not leaders. All right, morals relating to the standards of good behavior, honesty, and fair dealing, or showing a high standard of this type. Morals relating to standards of good behavior, honesty, and fair dealing. So y'all keep seeing these uh, things of good behavior, good character, honesty, integrity, neighborly. You see all these things. And again, I'm setting something up. Ethics. The terms of ethics, a technical use of philosophy to means a philosophical study of morality. Morality understood as a set of social rules, principles, norms that guides are intended to guide the conduct of people in a society and its belief about right and wrong conduct as well as good and bad character. Even though morality is the subject matter of ethics, it is the most often used interchangeable with ethics. In spite of the philosophical inquiries of analysts understand by the individual moral philosophical regarding morality, i.e. the morality of a society or people, analyzed which often results in diverse positions or conclusion. Nevertheless, the basic feature, the core element of the morality of the society, the moral principles and values that actually guide and influence the lives of people. And we don't have that in the conscious community. We don't have any type of moral parameters. We don't have no type of ethics and what we call this so-called conscious community. But again, I'm setting something up here. African words for ethics or morality. So let's get into some of the words of what, because again, I look at everything from an African perspective, from the African worldview. And most of the people in the conscious community say that they are African descent. Their lineage goes back to West Africa or Central Africa. A lot of the people say they are Pan-Africans, they are RBGs, they are et cetera, et cetera. But when I look at them, because you say something, I can be a doctor all day, but just because I say I'm a doctor does not mean I'm a doctor if I'm not practicing medicine or I'm not putting that into practice and I'm not being a practitioner of that. So a lot of times we say things and we not who we say we are. So African words of ethics and morality. When a speaker of an Akan language wants to say he has no morals or he has immorals or he is unethical, his conduct is unethical. he almost invariably say he has no character. So they would say Oni Suba. Oni Suba, this is someone who has no character. The statement he has no morals or he has unethical is as expression by the speakers of the old language, no nomo mile co, which means he has no character. And I know a lot of these fools in the conscious community has no character. In the Yoruba language and thoughts, the word Iwa means both character and morality. We know Iwa means character. We know Iwa Pele means good character. Um, uh, in the Ingum, in the Igbo language, the Eastern Nigerian, the word agua, meaning character, is used in such a statement as he has no morals. Onwi G ise agua. In Shoshone, the language spoken by the substantial majority of the people of the Zimbabwe, the word tisika means ethics or morality. But when they want to say the person that has no morals or he is unethical, they say often use the word hanhu, which directly means character. Thus, hanana, hanhu means he has no character. He has no morals. He has no, he is unethical. Moral personhood. Let me start the analyst and the moral personhood in Africa, moral philosophical, with a statement made by Ifeanyi Mekente, an African philosopher from Nigeria. The various society found in traditions, Africans routinely accept this fact that personhood is sort of a thing which has to be obtained. I'm gonna read this again. The various societies found in traditional African routinely accepts this fact that that personhood is a sort of thing which has to be obtained, and it is obtained by a direct proportion as a participant in the communal life through the discharge of various obligations defined by one station. It is the carrying out of these obligations that transform one from a it status of early childhood marked by an absence of moral functions into person status of later years marked by wide maturity and ethical sense and an ethical maturity without which personhood is conceived as eluding one. So in most African culture, and again, I'm building and I'm trying to set something up before so y'all can understand when I go through, when I say these are my teachers, these are my leaders, these are my elders. These are the platforms I look at. These are the platforms that I choose not to look at. These guys are not teachers. These guys are not elders. These guys are not leaders. I don't care how many views they got. I don't care how many places they done travel. But again, in the conscious community, we have people that say that they are African descent. Their heritage goes back to Central Africa and West Africa. We have people in the conscious community say they are Pan-Africanists and etc. And when you look at a lot of our presentations, a lot of the presentations we deal with Southeast, West, and Central Africa. And when you look at Africa, Africa is trying to make the best human being as possible. You have to, it's certain criteria and certain obligations. So we talk about the rites of passages, which we have talked about on Kofi Piesie TV, Master Word Clan, till we have been blue in the face about the procedures of the rites of passage. And these are demarcation stages of life. It is building one. It is taking and it's transitioning from one stage to the next stage until you get into the eldership, and then one day become an ancestor where you would forever be remembered. So everyone cannot be an elder, which will go into that. Everyone is not an elder because they are older than the next person. So there's certain stages that you have to go, certain obligations and criteria that you have to fulfill, right? And in certain African traditions, if you don't fulfill these certain obligations and criteria, some of you are not even looked at as a human being or even as a person. When we talking about moral personhood and some of these ethnic groups, because you have not reached the maturity stage, which we see this a lot in the conscious community. A lot of these people are so immature. A lot of these people have not grown up. So it's certain things that you have to go to in order for you to be recognized in your community or your society, your tribe or your clan as a human being or even as a person. Some will be considered an it status. You will not become a personal status if you don't go through these certain types of, and get through these certain types, meet these certain criteria and obligations. Um, and marks by wide maturity, ethnical sense, and ethnical maturity without which personhood is conceived as eluding one. McKenty's statements do break as a conception of moral personhood, which will now be discussed some in detail. The concept of a person in Africa thought embodies ethnical suppositions. The word used for person in the Akan language, undoubtedly the most widely spoken language in Ghana, is Anupa. But the word Anupa also means human being, and the plural form of it means people. Thus, the word Anupa is a ambiguous word. In the Akan society, when an individual conducts very often appears cruel, wicked, selfishness, ingenuous, or unsympathetic, it would be said of the individual that he is not a person. He is a Onuyi Anupe. He is not a person. So some of these people in our community that we call the conscious community, again, wouldn't even be considered human beings. They would even be considered persons because of the conduct that they display. And they wouldn't display. This is why they go through these different demarcation stages. They are trying to develop a person to be the best human being as possible. So there's different stages that you have to go through, things that you have to learn, life lessons that you have to learn, certain criteria that you have to gain, and etc. Accountability. The qualities or statements of being accountable, especially an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or the account for one's action. If you take responsibility for your actions, you show accountability. Integrity, the quality of being honest, of having strong moral principles. Integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. And again, some of these definitions I'm doing for a reason. So keep a lot of these definitions in mind. So when I get to what I'm saying, you can kind of understand and follow what I'm saying. Because again, I look at everything from an African perspective and an African worldview. Teach. Teachers, for an old English to come, past tense, past whatever that is, to show, point out, declare, demonstrate, also give instruction, train, assign, direct, warn, persuade, from the Proto-Germanic Tijan, to show. The source, I don't want to read that, to accuse, to announce, from the Proto-Indo-European root, dekek, to show, point out, related to the Old English taikon, tak, sign, mark, related to taught or teaching. This is from the etymology dictionary. Teacher, definition, a person who teaches or instructs, especially as a professional or an instructor. Leader, an Old English ladari, one who leads, one first or most prominent agent, now from Latin to guide, conduct. Cognate, with the old Frisian ladar, Dutch lidar, Old High Germanic litara, German litar, as a title for a head of authoritative state, from the 1918 translation of Herdus, Cardillo, etc. Leader, a person who leads or commands a group, organization, or a country. Elder, a person, senior citizen, from the Old English adarar, older person, parent, ancestor, chief, prince, used by biblical translation for Greeks, Presbyterian. Seek elders, meaning one having authority in the community, originally through age, and from the late 14, a biblical translation of Latin senior, compare German into Danish, whatever that is, Sweden, Fuladar parents. The Old English grandfather was related elders. Middle English also has elders, parents, forebearers from the late, from the elders. I agree with this a little bit, but again, I look at everything from an African perspective and an African worldview. Elder, a person who is a older, which I don't agree with that. A person having authority because of the age and experience elders in the village. I can kind of agree with that. All right, now what is an elder according to African tradition? So let's get into what is an elder according to African tradition. Because as I was reading one, I said I agree with this and I don't agree with that. And again, I look at everything from an African perspective and an African worldview. And we try to bring this as much as possible, the African perspective, the African worldview, to Masi and to Kofi Piesie TV, so people can be familiar with the traditions that they hold on the continent and the traditions and the customs that our ancestors and forefathers um, once did and practice also. And I'm saying that because majority of the community say that they are African descent. Their lineage ranges back to West Africa and Central Africa. A lot of them are practitioners of Pan Africanness. So we have to start saying or acting or um, doing who are acting like who we say we are. So what is an elder according to African traditions? And in traditional African society, as well as embedment within the value systems of the contemporary African community worldwide, to live on an old age was and considered a blessing. Eldership is, however, more than mere age. I'm gonna read that again. African communities worldwide, to live to an old age was and considerable a blessing. Eldership is, however, more than mere aging. It is more than mere aging. It is more than mere aging. The difference is important, and we throw this elder title around loosely. Difference in importance to understanding. Being an elder is fundamental, different from just being old. In regards to African religion or African tradition or African customs or African way of life, Africans' way of the ancestors, the purpose and practice of eldership is found in a spiritual meaning of eldership. In African culture, before I go any further, people cannot be an elder. Again, there are certain things that they have to meet, certain criteria, certain life lessons that they have to go through, certain things that they have to learn, certain things that they have to do and fulfill. So again, majority of the ethnic groups in Africa, um, they have a thing called rites of passage. And again, these are demarcation stages of life, different stages of life, different forms of information. The same thing as we talk about grades. We go through the first, second grade. These are different levels of knowledge. You don't learn about algebra till you get to what? Maybe junior high. You don't learn about algebra in the first grade. So these are different stages of information that we go through. The same thing when we talk about these rites of passage. Rites of passage. And all of it is designed to take this person and make him the highest human being as possible. And a lot of that comes with being a great humanitarian. So they try very well to install character, good character into these systems that they have, building and cultivating character. This is the main focal in their tradition, is building and cultivating character, good character. Um, so elders are the guardians and culture, traditions, and histories of the people. Integrity. So that's another word. Generosity, wisdom. So integrity. Integrity. We also seen that when I was showing you a list of what good character is. It also, good character comes with integrity. And can we say a lot of the people in the so-called conscious community, do they have integrity? I see a lot of lying and falsehoods and misinformation is being passed on a lot of these different platforms. So to me, some of these platforms don't even possess integrity. They want to lie, and we'll get into why some of these platforms do what they do. Generosity, wisdom, uh, um, acuteness, subtileness, patience, tactfulness, gratefulness, and being listed to and respected by others are all qualities of an elder. Understandable with eldership, one's status and value in the community rise. What is the role of an elder? The primary work of an elder is to advise, guide, and oversee the living in communities. Their fundamental values and purpose lies in teaching the young what it means to be a human. I'm gonna say that again. The primary work of an elder is to advise, guide, and oversee the living in the community. Their fundamental values and purpose lies in teaching the young what it means to be a human. So you're going to continue to consistently see cultivating and building good character to try to make these guys or these individuals the best human being or person as possible. The elders know the tradition, history, values, beliefs, and cultural laws that are inviolate. According to the experience and wisdom of the elder, is rarely sought to freely share with others. Elders are charged with the task of understanding both the material and spiritual requisition. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure. Okay. Requisition. I lost where I'm at. Requisition of life. It is through to be an honor to even be in the presence of an elder. They serve as a link between the past and the present while guaranteeing that our way of life is extended into the future. Guarantee that our way of life is extended into the future. That our way of life is extended into the future. So everyone cannot be an elder. Everyone cannot be an elder. And again, according to African tradition, just because you are older than someone does not make you an elder. And I see a lot of you throw these titles out as elder. One guy y'all called an elder. I understand why y'all call this one guy an elder, but he's not an elder. Look at his conduct. Look at his character. Look what he's doing. Dividing. Look what he's doing, exploiting us. You know what I'm saying? Exploiting us for entertainment in order to make money. This is how he makes a living. So he has to keep up the confusion and chaos because we love entertainment. We love foolishness. Elders. These are my elders. Hey, Satel, or anyone on the panel, could y'all put the link in the chat? Can y'all put the link in the chat? If y'all can't, well, should I have to stop sharing my screen to do it? Satep, can you put it in there?
I got you.
All right. Yeah, I'm about to ask Satep if you can, because I've never done it before. Okay. What I just copied the one from the Facebook, would that work? Because I'm on my phone.
That should work. That should work.
I'll try that as well. Well, dang it, I'd have to get on YouTube and that'd kick me out the Zoom on my phone, so I can't right now.
Yeah, Satep say he got it. He got it. Elders. These are my elders. So I gave a list of definitions, etymology definitions, criteria of what good character is. I showed you certain tribes from West Africa, East Africa, and South Africa. What are the words in their language for character? What is their words for people that practice bad character or unethical? And I showed you, you know what I'm saying? It is all about cultivating good character. It is about building good character. Gave you a list of what good character is umbrella up under. Gave you a gist of what eldership is according to African tradition and African way of life. So elders, these are my elders. And again, when Satep put the thing in the panel, if anyone want to join the panel, you can join the panel, because I would like to give people, I would like to see who are their elders, their teachers, and their leaders, you know what I'm saying, and why they consider these guys to be elders. And again, I put the definitions, the etymology of the definitions, certain ethnic groups, their perspective on good character, unethical character, and etc. for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see just pick through the minds of the people that's out there when we talk about this conscious community. Who do y'all consider y'all elders? You know what I'm saying? And are you as African centered as you say you are? Are you really a pan Africanist? Are you really trying to put these things into practice in your life? Do you really look at life through the eyes of an African? Do you really look at the eyes through the lens? I mean, do you look through the world through the eyes of an African and not as a European? Because most of us look at our worldview is the same as a European worldview, and I understand why that has to do with miseducation, or lack of education, and so forth. But these are my elders here. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, I consider to be my elder. Dr. Takao Kilimanjaro, I consider him to be my elder. James Small, I can consider to be my elder. Muku McZ, I consider to be my elder. Professor Copper, I consider my elder. These are the men, to me, when I look at the criteria of what most African ethnical groups considered to be elders. These are certain criteria that these individuals have to meet. Integrity is one. These guys all have integrity. These guys are friendly. These guys are neighborly. These guys are respectable. And I can keep going down the list. These guys are my favorite for so many different reasons. Muku just became one of my favorite elders a few maybe it's been a year ago. It may have been a year ago through on the Amon Ra squad. I forgot what the subject or what the title of the show was, and it was some confusion that was going on, some misunderstanding. I'm just saying some misunderstanding that was going on, and this brother humbly apologized for something that he might have said or something that he might have did that he didn't really truly understand or even see where they was coming from. And from that made me respect, because you don't see a lot of people in the conscious community. I'm not saying, I'm you don't see a lot, but I'm saying you do see it, where people are humble enough where they not only attack mode, where they start to attack people and attack people family and say all type of derogatory things. So he won my respect when he did that. And I started to go look at a lot of the videos. I forgot the name of the group that he has in the channel, YouTube channel he had. Golly, it'll come to me in a minute. But these are my elders. Teachers. These are my teachers. You have on your left, you have Asar Imhotep. In the middle, you have Benjamin Njai. Right here on your right, where my cursor, you have Sanjeti. Here you have Wu Jao, Iri Ma'at, and here you have brother Nehisi, brother Nehisi. These are my teachers. I have a closer relationship mostly with all of them, except Asar. I done talked to Asar on a few occasions, but I have like personal where I can call Ben at any time, Wu Jao, Nehisi, and Sanjeti, if I need to, for anything. So these are my teachers. And a lot of when we talk about Sean put it in there. Appreciate it, Sean, for putting it in there. Sean put it in there. So anybody that want to join the panel, like I said, you're more than welcome to join the panel. I would like to get your perspective on things. I would like to know who your teachers are. I would like to know who your leaders and your elders are. But again, these are my teachers, and they are my teachers. They are my favorite teachers for so many different reasons. A lot of these individuals what gets my eye is I'm not one for the entertainment. So these are, and a lot of times entertainment gets in the way from people properly learning. I mean, conscious community is a prime example of that. And I'm not trying to bash on it, but most of the people that are in the chat, they're not there to learn. They are having sidebar conversations. They're not taking notes. They're not jotting down the sources that they have, the books that they may recommend, and going through these books or combing through the information or combing through the art these articles um, and so forth. But these guys here possess good character. So I can listen to them because they possess good character. So I don't have to worry about the foolishness. I don't have to worry about them talking about anybody's mama. I don't have to worry about them telling them to suck some on their body. I don't have to worry about them disrespecting their somebody else's kids that they don't even know. So these guys are what I would call Omo Luwapis in the Nigerian, I mean, when the Yoruba culture, they say Omo Luwapi. So these are Omo Luwapis. These are great men. These are great humanitarians. These guys have great character. These guys have good, good character. So these are my teachers. Leaders. I don't believe that there is such thing as just one man or one woman being leading a flock of people. You know, that day and age is gone. We have teams now. We have leaders. So these are who I consider to be my leaders. Everyone from the Amara squad. I love everyone in the Amara squad. I know everyone in the Amara squad and deal with those in the Amara squad, and they have brought scientific literacy to the conscious community. They have brought sources to the conscious community, because if you go back via the net, you had a few people that did that. You had um, what's the brother name? Used to be, I considered a teacher at one point in time, Shaka Utmost. Shaka Utmost. I got a lot of my book references from that brother. But scientific literacy and most of the sources come from, Amara Squad brung that. So the whole Amara Squad, those are leaders. Those are someone that you can look to that won't misguide you and try to give you the accurate information as possible and bring you the latest and new information. NBK, which has become one of my favorite channels, um, is one of my favorite channels. I don't look at a lot of YouTube channels, and it's because of the foolishness. But NBK is one of my favorite channel. These guys, brother Jehudi Ma'at, who a good brother of mine, brother True and Story, and we cool. Sister Copper, that's my sister. That's my sister. Saneb, that's my brother. I'm real cool with brother Saneb. Um, over there. And a few others I may be missing. But uh, y'all keep doing y'all thing. These are leaders. These are individuals that you could call leaders. Same thing. These guys and women, they are bringing good information. Um, good information, bringing out things that we may not have a clue on African American history. What I'm saying, world history, in general. So those are my leaders. The Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. I'm saying the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, even though I am a member of the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, but these are another group of people that demonstrate good character. And we try our best to bring the accurate information as possible, and we're trying to get you to understand that language uh, is the DNA to the culture. In other words, in order to understand the culture, you must deal with the language. So these guys can be looked at as leaders, brother Ini Sean, Wu Jiao, brother June, brother Satep and Ra, sister Emi Cad, Aware, Atiba, Sekou, Jehudi Ma'ad, Brother Antoine, who go by Hush Your Mouth. These are leaders. Damo, forgot about Brother Damo. These are leaders. These are my leaders. And hopefully some of these people I'm talking about are you deem as leaders as well. Mossy Warrior Clan. I'm also a member of the Mossy Warrior Clan as well, but I put that out there because we do demonstrate good character, and we try to bring, even though Brother Sean, he's a little aggressive. I know y'all might say, Brother Sean, he's a little aggressive. He's passionate about um, African culture, African tradition, African customs, African way of life. So he's very passionate about that. So when he sees a lot of misinformation, misinformation out there, you know what I'm saying? He wants to combat that information, combat those falsehoods. So so he's very passionate. Um, and I'm gonna ride with him. I'm gonna ride with him. And but anyway, we try to bring you the most accurate information as possible. We're trying to give you a better understanding of African culture, tradition, and African way of life. So we walk you through these different ethnic groups in Africa. We tell you about their systems. We tell you about their way of life. We tell you about their rites of passages, why they dance, why they sing, why the drums are involved in their drums are involved in everything, what it means to have tattoos, piercings, body paint, the hair different, what does these different hairstyles mean. We even deal with the languages a little bit from time to time. So Benjamin Njai, which I showed you, my teacher, he is a leader. I look at him as a leader. Sean, I look at as a leader. Nahesi, which I showed you as a teacher as well. I look at him also as a leader. This brother has good conduct, as where you can't show me one time where this brother got out of character. He kept Ori Tutu. Ori Tutu means cool-headedness. He kept cool-headedness at all times. Um, who is I'm in my Aunt Ra, brother uh brother Michael Hope, um leader, brother of Fortune, leader. All these are my leaders. These are the few references that I use, uh, putting together these few slides. Like I just didn't want it to be just a full discussion. I'm a visual person. I like to see visuals, you know what I'm saying? I like to see things in writing, you know what I'm saying, as well. So I just threw together a few slides to try to get you to understand when I told you who are my leaders, who are my teachers, and who I consider to be my elders. You know, again, I don't throw those titles out loosely, so maybe now you can understand why I chose the people as my teachers, why I chose um, these groups. Because again, one man or one woman, that era is over with. It's about teams. Teams win. So I gave you the leaders, these teams that I consider all these group of men and women that is a part of these teams. I feel like they are leaders. Elders, I gave you my elders, and I gave you my elders according to the African way of life, their perspective, and the criteria that these individuals reach, and the good character that these guys possess. Um, I see nobody got anything in the chat. Nobody join the panel. I mean, don't be scared to join the panel if you want to join the panel. I definitely would like to, hear from some other people. Give me what the heck is this? Give me their perspective. What is their leaders, their teachers, their elders? Am I wrong? The teachers that I gave, I'm wrong for that. Am I wrong for the leaders? Am I wrong for um um the elders? Please move this window.
You got somebody in there that's wrong, Kofi.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop sharing this before I get something keep popping up here. Dang.
You got a big head.
Who that?
I'm messing with Sean.
Oh, Am I still sharing my screen or is what, son?
Yeah, you still sharing.
Huh?
You still sharing.
Okay. Say what, son? Hold on, y'all. Let me stop sharing my screen if I can. I'm trying to all these things open. Stopping me. Okay. All right. Well, you said we got a big head in the chat.
No, I was messing with Sean. I said you got somebody, one of them leaders on there. I disagree with. He got a big head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I just look, man.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
go over my little list, Kofi. It's little.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my teachers, you know, and some of them parallel with yours. That's why I ain't really big. But you know, first and foremost, it's gonna be Saber Wujao, you know. And I got Sanjetti on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I like Sanjetti. I got Unc on my list too because I learned a lot from Unc. I've been following Unc for so long. It's crazy. Probably since like 2013 or maybe the end of it's about 2013. I was following Unc. So yeah, Unc definitely one of my teachers. I like Unc. And I got Asar on my list. I got Brother Danny on my list. He been
Mm-hmm.
dropping knowledge since the
Yeah.
Hangout days. You know, before he was going by true historian. I like Danny. I be watching his videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got my brother Rob Bourne on there too. Rob Bourne, he got a lot of knowledge, man. Excuse me, he got a lot of knowledge. I don't know if people sleeping on him. I just don't hear him talking about too much, but he be dropping a lot of knowledge, he well versed in a lot of areas too, especially the West Africa thing as well. And yeah, he combat a lot of misinformation. So yeah, they're my teachers right there. And my elders is Takai Kilimanjaro, Professor James Smalls. I was pleased to meet him. He was a pretty cool cat. And I got Infudici on my list as one of my elders as well. Uh, I like Infudici. I know some people like, oh, he be selling rocks and saying aliens and all that stuff. But if you're able to discern the information and you know what you could get out of it, you know, you can put some of that stuff aside. Plus, he got so much knowledge, and he come from the same stock that we come from up under Rickety Yaman. So, you know, you can't call him too pseudo, but yeah, they're my teachers right there. So, and
But you say your teachers and your elders. What about your leaders?
my leaders is gonna be the exact same as yours.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because I mean, basically those four groups in there is in my opinion, the foremost in the community. You know, when it comes to pushing scientific literacy and I got to tip my hat again to Unc because Unc was the man. Unc been pushing that for so long before folks was
Mm-hmm.
even talking scientific literacy and stuff. Unc never changed his position on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said Unc, one of my teachers, one of my highly and Unc my elder too though. Unc my elder as well. So I got to put Unc on my elder list as well too.
Okay.
So yeah, but my leaders is gonna be the same as yours because like I said, the people that's on in them groups is the foremost in the community, you know, and any type of information that anybody in one of them groups put out is gonna be solid. It's gonna be legit. You go to any one of the YouTube pages. All four groups got YouTube pages. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. And you know them pages, like June said, you can tell your friend, hey man, go look at this, go check this out. They dropping solid information. And like Vasa was saying, if your kid got a presentation or something, they want to do something on West Africa or something like that, you can send them to any one of them pages. I mean, besides the session, because we focus with Kemet, but you know, you can send them to Mossy Warrior Clan. You can send them to NBK. I like NBK's information as well because they true historian. He focused on a lot of stuff in West Africa, and he focused on the history right here in America. That's what I like about Danny so much because he'll drop some jewels that you didn't even know about landmarks and stuff right here where we at. That way, if you can't afford to go to Africa, you know you can see stuff that your ancestors did right here on this continent. So
Mm.
yeah, that's my little spill on it.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, boss? And then we'll get to June. I see Shavers gave a few little things. I scroll back through here and look. I mean, if they don't what's the name, hop in the panel. I see some people, come in. Go ahead.
Okay. My wording may not be what is expected, but I can only give my honest feeling on this. To all the names y'all just mentioned, I can easily say those are role models. And until they accept me as a student or a pupil, I can't declare that relationship. That's something that has to be earned and built, if y'all get where I'm going. So as of now, everyone you named, and I think that's something that needs to be added to the list. What is a role model for the community? So I look at them as role models. At the moment, and this is just being honest, I ain't saying this for any other reasons, but it's true. If I was to fall under the branch of anybody, y'all have to see what it is. Kofi would have to be my leader, my mentor, and teacher at the moment, whether he accepts that position or not. He's big, he's all of it in one, the big brother. But that don't mean I don't learn from everybody else and respect them and see them as is in their rightful places and understand the homage given to them at the moment. So until they, you know, give me the clearance to say, okay, you one of my students, I accept you in my class, I accept you in my school, I can't declare that. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. You know, I can't say Professor John Doe was my teacher and I've never sat in his classroom. Y'all get where I'm going? I can't say Master Bruce Lee was my master just because I watched his movies. He has to accept me as his pupil, and then I can say I have that relationship. And I think we need to be honest and set an example of doing that as well, because what if you one of the people that don't represent what these people are teaching? Now you damaging their good works in the community. You get what I mean? So there's a lot of responsibility that falls of us as people in the community. And I'm just giving that as just my honest way of saying today's conversation. And I think it's okay to say that. Hopefully y'all understand that. And I'll go to mute and see if y'all want to, jump in on those sentiments. But as of right now, Kofi's the one that brought me in. He found me way out in no man's land. And I told him from the gate, only thing I have when I come in here, Kofi, is my just personal experiences. I'm not ready to be on the platform. And no, you're going to get out there. You got a lot to teach. You got a lot to say. Go. So that was a big brother, a coach, mentor, teacher, and I followed lead. And look at what kind of relationship it allowed me to build with everybody else. Something that simple. Only thing he did was took the time out of his day, sent me his phone number, said, brother, call me. And from right there, look at what a beautiful relationship has been built in multiple fashions. I got to go to mute because my daughter is bothering me at the moment.
What about you saying, June?
Yeah, I agree with the lineup, 99% of the lineup, everybody coming with. Um, as far as language with me, big influence and teachers for me were Ujau and Dr. Riketti Amen. So I'll give a shout out to them, and as you always say, as I learned, we learned. So every time you guys do presentations, I'm here sit here learning with you guys. So I consider, this channel and all the other channels my teachers. Um, yeah, and I just it's really important all the stuff you say, because the elders right now, I mean, I wish there was more of them. I wish the lineup was bigger and more. And just thinking about the next wave. So I'm just glad we have people like you and Aunt Amara Squad pushing the scientific literacy and correct knowledge. Yeah, and big shout out to Unc. What he's doing is real big, and it's sad what happened to his channels. That was like libraries getting burnt down right there. It's real sad. I wish we could put a petition together and get the channels back or something. I wish there was something we could do, because that was real big. So special shout out to Unc and what he doing, and you too with this channel. But yeah, I agree with all of it. That's about it.
Yeah,
Kofi,
Kofi.
you got somebody on the line. I don't know who that is, but 919, you got something to say? We can't hear you.
Oh, what's going on? This scenario. That's my bad.
Oh
Can
yeah,
y'all
that's
hear me?
what I thought. Yeah, I thought I figured that
Oh,
was you. Yeah.
okay, brother Sinead. What? Okay, okay, okay.
What's going on? I saw Sean put the link in, saying what's good with y'all brothers. Peace. Appreciate you letting me on.
No problem, man. I don't know how much did you see the whole thing, or
I came in kind of late though. Came in late.
yeah. But basically what I did was I set up something before we started discussing. So I wanted to put some slides together, just give some working definitions of what a teacher, a leader, um, and an elder is, and also talk about good character, and what is good character. So I gave a list of what good character is, and then I went to West Africa, South Africa, and East Africa and showed you the words of what in this culture means character, this culture means bad character or unethnical, and showed you how when you're talking about African culture, you're talking about them cultivating and building good character, trying to make a person the best human being as possible. So I also showed in the Ghana culture where they have this thing called personhood, but it's in a lot of other ethnical cultures where you not even recognize, you call it status if you don't mature. So if you don't meet the certain type of obligations and criteria, you know what I'm saying, where you're able to cultivate yourself and come the best person or human being as possible, you're in it status. You're still unmature, so you're not recognized as a person um in that society. And that's just not in Ghana. That's a lot of other different cultures that deal with the same thing. You're not recognized as a human being. So I was trying to set it all up, and so they can kind of understand who are my teachers, who are my leaders, who are my elders, so they can kind of understand. Plus I wanted to hear from each one was watching, who are their elders, who are their teachers, and who are their leaders. And am I wrong for the teachers, the leaders, and the elders that I choose? But I wanted to set it up so everybody can understand when I made my choices of these are my teachers, these are my leaders, these are my elders. You can kind of understand why I chose those people or those groups.
Okay, that's peace. Yeah, but of course, something like an elder or a teacher, most definitely like to kind of piggyback what y'all said. It's sort of a mutual bond and choice to not only use that as a teacher where you assume everything said is right and exact, but that provides you with the sources and references to kind of substantiate a point of view. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's a dope topic.
So who are Chanel? So who are some of your teachers and some of your leaders and some of your elders, or who you consider to be a teacher, or teachers, or elders, or leaders, or leader?
Um, I don't know. I kind of see, you know what I'm saying? I kind of mostly look outside of the conscious community. That's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I feel I don't want to put our people in the box because there's a lot of people, majority of black folks don't really know what this is that we do here. But as far as teacher, man, my grandmother, that's the first one I knew about. You dig what I'm saying? Most definitely put me on game. This life, period. You know what I'm saying? But definitely the squad, NBK. Shout out to everybody in the NBK team. You know what I'm saying? Definitely putting, not necessarily having a per se teacher, but it's having a group of folks who really want to understand what history is and are willing to provide you the resources to get you to that point. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily have to be someone that's in a position of authority, but when it comes down to knowledge, we all at some point have to, succumb and be a pupil or be willing to put down certain notions that we, accumulated over time. And be willing to change our mindsets when presented with information that's to the contrary. So I can just appreciate being in that type of, environment. So we all at some point in time are teachers. You know what I'm saying? We all got majority of us got kids. So we at some point in time we teaching anyway. So but I think the more beautiful thing is being able to learn, you know what I'm saying? And be able to change modes and self information for what it is. But leaders, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know necessarily for a leader. They'll be more family oriented than anything else. You know what I'm saying? If that answers your question.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. I can understand that. Understand that. Yeah.
Can I ask a question that kind of goes into this?
I want to hear what Sean's is.
Oh, I forgot Sean was here. My bad.
Peace to Sean. What's going on? He done got off.
Nah, I'm here. My bad. Yeah. So let me put mine in the proper context. For a lot of people, that just think certain things. So I just want to kind of define something real quick. I don't see lecturers as teachers. If there's a difference, right? There's a really big difference between what one would call or deem a lecturer versus a teacher. A teacher is like a surgeon, or an artist that has a specific ability to convey whatever it is in a particular field of study to a mass of people that may not even have any interest in the said subject at all. So I think some people are like, and this is my opinion, but I think some people are miscategorized because of lecturing or information or whatever they may be kicking or whatever they may be knowledgeable about some things. And let me hold on. I'm gonna give you my why real quick, because a teacher possesses certain principles and certain characteristics to be able to administer this information to everyone. They provide instructions, guidance. They're able to tie in their experience to a lot of things that are actually being taught. Whereas a lecturer is not afforded that same criterion. They have a different criterion to reach to the mass. I don't disagree with a lot of what some people say about teachers or what, who they look in the community for information. Everybody knows that it always is going to start with what we call the Shem Shuheru research team. Those three individuals, Unc, of course, from the gate, Brother Ben, Danny, Brother Nahisi, even though people haven't seen Nahisi teach on said subjects, because what Nahisi does is a lot of background stuff. So if you want to ask him about something, and he even has a book that's coming, if you want to ask him something in his lane, he's going to answer that, and he's going to give you a lot of information to tell you why he's came to that conclusion in his research and field of study. So he's not going to leave you hanging out. He's actually going to teach you and demonstrate why he is where he is in that lane. As far as I keep my list short really with the teachers, because I don't depend on the methodology of a lot of people outside of that realm. When you go and you break down certain lectures that have been given by certain people, and you look at the methodology and so on and so forth, then you kind of go back and be like, okay, now where is your written work or any published journals or anything that you may have articulated in a particular area. Where are these things at that we can kind of look to and to stand on? And I hold people to that. And one of the main reasons why I do that is because people like Danny, he gives you everything in the world that he's got under in his briefcase, right? And he's giving it to you for a reason, because of the examples that have been set by the people he deemed as his teachers. You know what I mean? So when you start reading works by his teachers are setting a bar so high that you gotta, they're not coming down to you. They're telling you to know you need to come up to me. There's no passes in scholarship, and that has been given to a lot of people. This assumption of what scholarship is, and it's not just knowing something. It's more to it than that, and that's where we have dropped the ball in some instances with a lot of folk. So, elders, rightfully so, elders always demonstrate good character. They're always having these teaching moments. They are allowing us the ability to advance knowledge. So they're being very scientific in their demeanor. So it's kind of hard for me to put everybody in the way I see it. And it's a good thing, because we all have this different perspective of who, when, what, or how these people should be. But I like to, I always say, like I told Reggie, Brother Reggie. Brother Reggie, in my opinion, is not an actual teacher. He's a lecturer, but he could be a great teacher because of the knowledge that he has, but he fails to possess the one thing that his teachers and his elders told him to do and demonstrate it. And that was to write and articulate your thoughts in written works. And he's of the age where he can spend a little time to actually write some of the things that he's learned along his journey, even if it's just a memoir. That would be respected. But I look to my library and I look at all the elders and I look at all the people we give titles to that we call master teachers and so on and so forth. They wrote. And to me, that's the highest esteem that anyone can ever give us, because it leaves for everlasting memory, that we can go back and we can look at that, and then we can comb through that, and then if there's corrections, we can make those. But at the same time, we have what they left us. They put their heart and soul into this written material, and they didn't garbage it up or mysticize it up or make up things in their works. They use what the resources that they had to advance knowledge in their time, and then they put together the best written work that they could on said subjects. Elijah, your mama calling you. So that I hold high, and I'm trying to get to that level of writing. And we have other brothers. Kofi has written work, you know what I'm saying? But we have all these other things that's going on, but some people just need to put out their work. So I hold it in high regards. Even, the articles we write, Shaneb, me, you, and Kofi, and things of that nature, those are respected too. But most people are afraid to read what we write because they're intimidated by it. You know what I mean? And I think that they're not even reading the books that our greatest minds wrote because they're intimidated by looking at a 400-page book or 500-page book. And you shouldn't. Man, we over here reading 900-page book, 1,100-page books. You know what I'm saying? So, Kofi, you was talking about character earlier, and I always go back to Nasud Biddy, A Lesson in Paranoia and Leadership by Asar Motep. On page 140, he puts in there, we get a glimpse of the divine nature of all human beings in an excerpt from an autobiographical text of Paheri of the 18th dynasty, a scribe and mayor of Negev. It says, my good character raised me high. I was summoned as one who is free from what is hateful. If I were placed on the scales of judgment, I would come out complete, whole, sound. I came and went with the same heart. I did not lie to another. I knew that the nature or the divine, or some people would say God, is which is in people. Knowing him, I knew this from that. I did the task as they were ordered. I did not confess the message with the messenger. I did not speak with vulgar words. I did not converse with people who lack character. I was a model of kindliness. One praise who came praise from the womb. The mayor of Necker, Paris, the justified, born of the lady Cam, the justified. That translation was from Karanga, by the way. But it's things like that, man, where people drop jewels and works that we can pull back from and get that information to move forward through the day. I feel like the climate has been giving certain people a pass because of their lectures or how good they may lecture, argue, debate, or teach in some instances. So we give their characters a pass. They can cuss us out, call us bitches, tell us suck their dicks, all these different things. How many times they gonna slap us, what they gonna do when they threaten us, all of that. We get a character a pass, right? And it's always under the gist of because he's a good teacher, a lecturer, a debater, or he got a lot of knowledge. But we never put them people in the, if we're going to hold them to a certain criterion or high regard, then we got to go back and we got to chastise their behavior, because that is part of the problem that we see and we have, and the reason why we're having this conversation today. Now, never mind everything else that's going on. This is specifically speaking into the climate. So when we think about our lecturers, teachers, elders, elders, all of these things, when we think about that whole vibe that we're getting from these particular people, we have to be able to also, if you're going to pedestal these people, give them a title or do whatever it is, you got to do your homework on it. If you're unwilling to do your homework on it and just accept their behavior, point out, then, hey, at one point in time, that's going to reveal itself to you and you're going to back away from that. I can tell you right now, several people that I no longer listen to because of their temperament. It makes no need for me to listen to it because I can't learn from that. I can't learn from chaos either. So it's kind of real hard for me to actually learn from chaos. So when I'm in a controlled environment where teaching moments are accessible, I take advantage of those. But I'm gonna leave it right there at that, man. That's really where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm the same way though. What you said about the confusion and the chaos, I said that earlier. I can't learn. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch certain platforms because of a lot of the foolishness, the chaos, and confusion that goes on. It's a distraction to me. And even with them, some of those platforms or those that may be doing lecture out there, the people they attract in they chats, man. I mean, they is bad character, negative, and all other types of things too. So that's another distraction too. So I have to be in something also that is a control environment. But Vasa had put some. Vasa, what you put some down? I looked. Hold on, let me look at him.
Oh, I was talking about my King slide. Y'all know I love to use that every chance I get.
I don't have it, Vasa.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. But to speak towards what Sean said, and I'm so glad that he went on ahead and threw that out, because I was going to start with asking, can we afford to continue saying the game is to be sold and not told? But after what Sean said, I want to expand on that. We all have a local weatherman. Do you declare him a teacher because he's just giving you weather predictions? Even though with his position, he should be teaching you meteorology and how to predict the weather yourself. And I hope y'all get where I'm going and trying to draw the parallel of what he was saying to you.
Yeah, bro, you're going to have to clean that up because, that don't make sense.
Okay, Sean just said there's a difference.
Let me explain it real quick. That way you know where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
This man get paid to tell you the weather, not teach you the weather. So why would you use that as a parallel?
But that's not why I was using it as that. What I'm saying is, would you call him your teacher just because he's predicting the weather for you instead of telling you how to predict the weather.
That ain't
It's
his
like
job. That's not his job.
hold on, Satep, you're reading too deep into it. The same way Sean was saying, there's a difference in between a lecturer, somebody just throwing out information, and actually teaching you how to acquire the information, how to dissect the information, how to make predictions about the future. Then you can start identifying him as a teacher and leader because he built a relationship with you. And when he went into Asar's work, on that page, he also said something to the lines of, subjects could only hope to experience immortality vicariously. I think that was on that page. And just think about what a teacher does for you. You keep their name living on. I said this in one of the conversations before. Eternity lies through the eyes of children, for it's they who will carry our names on. And the sentiment is on that of what kind of example are you going to be? Are you going to build a relationship with them? Are you going to teach them the things that they are going to carry on to the next generation and say, this is what my Uncle Sean taught me. This is what my big brother taught me, and I give that down to my kids. This is what Kofi taught me. Hey, baby girl, you want to learn how to read these names? Your Uncle Satep is the one who taught me how, and this is how you do it. Versus you just coming out one day and just reading out all the names of all the Nasuts who ever lived because you skilled in that. There's a big difference. See, one is just showing the tools they have. One is showing you how to use the tools they have. That's where you draw the line. So I was hoping to use that just for the common everyday person of everybody got a weatherman in their neighborhood, but not everybody's being trained to be a weatherman. Now, the emphasis of me using, can we afford in the Black community, continue going on saying the game is to be sold instead of told and wondering why we're not getting anywhere? Because a lot of us possess the tools, but we so eager, and this is where we having this conflict and why this conversation is really about. So many are so eager to get a name out and stamp themselves here that you're willing to say they was wrong just so you can get a moment of being right. Versus taking the time to show people how to get to these conclusions of this is why we need to reassess this thought, these ideas. This may not be the right way to go. Instead of just trying to jump ship and become captain versus realizing, hey, all of us are on the same ship and we headed in the same direction. Who's going to teach us how to get there safely, properly? Who has the best methods? Okay, so-and-so, and I'm not trying to single nobody out, so that's why I'm speaking this way. So-and-so told us this is what we're supposed to be doing. So let's do that. And you be the one, instead of just worrying about your own safety, start worrying about everybody else's safety. Over time, they're going to see that, and your rewards will come for that. Once you hit land, you think they're not going to come to you and lift you up on their shoulders and say, thank you, you the one that got us here? And you can be humble in your approach afterwards and say, no, it was Malcolm or Martin Delaney or Harriet Tubman or whoever you want to draw upon to say, no, they was the one. Give thanks to them if that's how you choose to do it. But watch the difference in the way that carries over when you say, give homage to all those before us, not just me. Because that's when you start making that tyrant. That's when you start making that I'm the one. And that's when you start separating yourself from being one in the community. And that's what the gist of this conversation is really supposed to be about. I understand the admiration being given to individuals that deserve they just do. And a lot of the names being spoken, yes, these people deserve their flowers before they hit that casket. So I understand the conversation. I'm just trying to dig a little bit deeper into the principles of the conversation from my perspective. So don't get lost in this attempt, with all due respect. I was just trying to throw that out to say, hey, you know, can we look at it this way? Now, I rock with you on, no, he don't get paid for that. He went to school. He got a job in this field. It's no different than me saying, I can't be mad at the cook at Applebee's because he don't teach me how to cook it. But I'm not going to say the chef at Applebee's is the one that taught me how to cook if he never did it. Just because you know how to prepare that meal don't mean you taught me how to do it. I'm gonna give credit to the ones who actually taught me how to go in the kitchen, show me what temperatures to use, what pots to use, what utensils to use, how to make proper measurements, the proper timing for each individual course, how to set it on the table and prepare it for whoever I feed it to, even if it's just myself. That's my teacher. That was the one who led me how to fulfill this quest properly with my own capabilities. But just because someone at Applebee's cooked some stuff that kind of was a role model of what I want to eat, you have to draw the lines. And I think that's what Sean was trying to say when he said there's a difference between a lecturer and a teacher.
Right.
I just try to use a different approach of how to state that. Something that you see every single day.
And that's the reason why I did. That's why with my teachers, I only have a few, and that's why I say they are my teachers. They have showed me correct methodology. They have showed me they ain't just did a lecture, you know what I'm saying, and I listened to the lecture. They actually demonstrated how they came up with their conclusion or etc. So these are why I say Sanjeti is my teacher, Nahisi, Saber, Asar, um, and who else was it? Unc might have been Unc. These are guys that demonstrate or they done taught me things. They have really taught me correct methodology. If you go back and look at um when I first started 2 or 3 years ago, I was doing stuff off of Facebook just like Sean was. Sean was actually the one who inspired me to start doing more presentations. So I started doing presentations on Facebook before I actually started Kofi Piesie TV. And if you go back and look at some of those videos from 3 years ago till now, you can see that I have come a long way, especially with methodology. And I owe that to those guys that I named as I deemed as my teacher, because they actually demonstrated and showed me how to uh you know do proper research. You know what I'm saying? Proper research is not Googling. You know what I'm saying? Taught me about cross analysis. You know what I'm saying? Cross analysis, comparing information with other information. um how to learn how people come up with certain types of conclusion. What is what is a consensus? What does the I mean, just whatever it is. I mean, they taught me these things, so I took it and applied it. So this is why I call them my teachers, and I appreciate them so much. They are not like a lot of these guys in the community that are coming on and just running off at the mouth or putting together a sloppy presentation, bad sources or no sources at all. Most of them know you have no sources, or you have people sourcing themselves. So, I mean, so this is the reason why, them are my teachers, and I understand why Sean said what he said between the difference between a lecturer and a teacher. And that's why I went at it when I was looking at who are my teachers. Same way I did when I looked at who are my leaders. Same way I did when I looked at who are my elders. Yeah. True historian said I get the most improved presenter for 2000.
Let me ask y'all a question. This ties along with, because I'm a little confused. I need somebody to bring some clarity. If you learn something from somebody, did that person teach you that? That's the question.
If you learn something from somebody, did they teach you that?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you learn something from somebody, but does it? My thing is that we talking about correct methodology. So what I'm saying is, you can learn anything from anybody, but just because you learn something from somebody, that does not make it right. I can teach my son.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you learn something from somebody, they taught you that, so by default, that's your teacher. This is what I'm ultimately getting to. It don't matter if it's a lecture. A lecture, you can learn something from a lecture. That means that lecturer taught you that. That means
Disagree.
Your teacher. Now you're gonna have to yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now explain that, Sean.
My son can teach me how to do something that I ain't never done before. Does that make my son my teacher?
In that instance, yes.
I got a different approach.
So
Hold on, bro.
I can say, okay,
Okay.
so my son taught me how to do that, but my son don't know how to teach me nothing else. But my son taught me how to do this one specific thing. So now he's my teacher. So now I learned what my son just taught me, but then I was able to advance that on my own without my son's help. And in return, turn around and show him a few things that he didn't even know about something because I went further than him. Is he still my teacher?
Now you equating it to a kid. Let me use this as
no. I'm just giving you it ain't got to be my son. It can be anybody.
Yeah, you equating it to a kid because obviously your brain is a lot more. You know a lot more than a child. I'm talking about Saber Wujal is all our teacher on here. He taught us how to read Medu Neter. So he's our teacher. That's that one thing. That's one thing. So we giving him the title of teacher because he taught us how to read Medu Neter. He didn't teach us how to do math problems. He didn't teach us how to drive a car. He didn't teach us none of that other stuff you talking about. He taught us
in learning Medu Neter from him, he continues to teach us things that deal with the sesh that we continue to learn from him. It's not just one thing. It started there, but it also evolved into other literary works, and as well as his grammar class is coming, as well as other projects and things of that nature that he's doing. So it's not limited to just that.
I disagree because that all falls under Medu Neter. That all falls under Egyptian writing. It all falls under that, bro. Grammar, that's part of that teaching. That's part of learning how to read it because you can't learn a language without the grammar. We know that. Everybody on the panel knows that. So that still falls under that one thing that I was just because even if we just watching Wujal's that's basically what we ain't sitting in this class physically. You know, he's lecturing to us. That's what a teacher is. They're a lecturer. When you go to college, yes, bro. Yes, you. Are you serious?
It's more than Medu Neter. Let me give you an example of that. Wujawu teaches methodology, not just Medu Neter. He gets into scientific literacy. So when you open up scientific literacy, it's different avenues of scientific literacy that he teaches on. What I'm saying is he possesses the ability to be able to convey and demonstrate all the things that a teacher, the characteristics of a teacher possesses. When it's in the field of a lecturer, the lecturer is not limited to the ability of all the other characteristics, because they can just give you a real good lecture and then they out.
If y'all stay right there, can we do it a different way? Let's say he never took the time to teach you how to read it, and he only read it in the language of the Ramesh. So you don't even understand the lecture. Is he still teaching you, or did he just come and just say some information in front of you? That's where the fine line is being drawn. He takes the time to break it down, simplify, and make sure you understand it. That's where the teaching begins. Now you can learn, you can have a learning experience anywhere. A thief can break into your house and steal some stuff, and that might teach you to lock your door. But did he come in and teach you what home security is?
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't teach you he didn't teach. No, that was a learning experience, but it wasn't a lesson in home security. He didn't teach you these are the things you need. Now you just know you need something,
bro. Yeah. See, I got
I know. I get that you went through a learning experience, but now you're gonna have to what? You're gonna have to find the ones who know what true home security is. You're gonna have to find somebody. Let's say you wanted to put cameras up now. You're gonna have to find somebody who can teach you how to install that. I'm not saying you couldn't do it on your own.
You're gonna have a hard time finding somebody to teach you that. You're gonna call ADT and they're gonna put that shit in for you. They're not gonna show you how to do that.
Not necessarily. There's people who get paid for doing that.
I ran a store, bro. We got security in the store. He didn't show us how to put that up there. We paid for his service to put it up there. He didn't say, oh, this is what you have to do. You got to run this wire here, do this and that. Like, no, that's no.
Okay, so that goes into the first question. Can we afford to keep saying that the game is to be sold instead of told and think we helping the community? Are we actually helping when we propagate that kind of worldview versus teaching each other, these are the whys, these are the hows? And eventually you get to the point of what? Due to the fact that you know everybody has learned home security, you just taught the thief a lesson. He either better practice his craft and become a master at it or find something else to do. So we can all learn from each other. But the fine line is who's actually teaching, who's taking the time to teach you, who's installing these things in you. Because none of us was born knowing everything we know now. We've learned from many different experiences, but it's those who take the time to say, hey, these are the experiences I've learned, and let me show you how it worked for me, what I went through, how I got here. When they do that for you, it creates a relationship to where you give them an honorific title. Hence, this is why those words exist: elders, teachers, leaders, and you differentiate all of those. I think that's the key point of this whole conversation. Because anybody can get on YouTube and just say whatever. And if you're a wise man, you're going to learn something from it. You're either going to learn, oh, I can use that, or oh, I can't use that.
Okay, so let me frame it this way then. Since I don't know if everybody on the panel said they teacher, but I know I said it and Kofi just said it. So we know for teaching scientific literacy, but he don't got a class teaching scientific literacy. He lecture about scientific literacy. So is he not a teacher?
Well, now we're using geographic locations versus
I'm asking Sean this because
okay. Go ahead.
He typed it up.
Absolutely.
That goes against what you just said then.
No, let me finish. You said that he lectures. I disagree. Not he teaches scientific literacy. He's doing it right now. Where
teach this at?
He's on his channel right now, teaching scientific literacy. Hold on, let me finish. He has a book. He's so dedicated to pushing science and teaching scientific literacy that he actually wrote a second book about the things that he's passionate about that he needs to go ahead and release, that he's editing and trying to get corrected as we speak. So that'll be his second works on the subject in which he is so passionate about. Now, yes, earlier on in Unc's life, he was lecturing, and that's all he was doing. And then it just got to a level where he began to start teaching. And that could be the influences of the people that he's been surrounded by that told him he got to raise his level. And then it forced him, as being one of the members of the squad, to raise his level and develop that ability to be able to teach these things. Because at first he couldn't convey a lot of the points that he can make today, which would go back to him just being just a lecturer. Now he's able to illustrate and break down these things to the core, to where the simple-minded person can get it, and the person who grabbed it the first time are on the same wavelength with him. So over time, he developed the ability to be able to teach.
Okay, so who is Unc's students if he a teacher?
He got about 95 of them.
Well, just give me one. Give me about 3 of them outside of the people on the panel.
Okay, outside of the people on the panel, you have Robert Rand, you have Orande, you have this dude named Jeremy.
And just for the people in the
Jeremy don't even comment in chats, comment on or not in no groups or none of that. Jeremy's a dude that I know that lives where I'm at, and all he talks about is all the material that he's got because of Unc and how he looks to his leadership in that subject when it comes to scientific literacy that helped him advance some things that he's going through, because he's a young dude And he wasn't learning these things even in his college courses.
Yeah, just for the people in the chat, I'm with Unc. I'm for Unc. I've named Unc as one of my teachers, so don't think that I'm going against Unc. I'm going against Sean saying that you can't be a lecturer and be considered a teacher, because I feel like Unc lectures, and I'm for lecture for sure. So Unc is my teacher, and I'm for that. So yeah, I don't want people thinking I'm going against Unc at all.
Hey, Satep, I agree with what you're saying because lecturing is a tool used in teaching.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're not taking that away from you. I think where you're getting lost at is, you know, the differentiation between somebody just throwing stuff out there, leaving you completely lost and stranded versus the people taking the time to break down the information. Have you ever heard me say this statement before in any other chats or when we just kicking it, you know, behind the scenes? A student's job is to complicate, a teacher's job is to simplify. And what I mean by that, the student is supposed to ask questions from a complicated perspective, meaning the lack of intelligence, the lack of knowing. The student is the one that's the teacher is supposed to be able to one to look right there at that student, identify where they at and bring them up to their level. Now that's a teacher. If I got on here and spoke Japanese to y'all the whole time, every word I said, if I just, instead of saying it in English, I just went Japanese on you, how many people in the audience am I actually teaching what I'm thinking and what I feel about this said subject right now? At that point, they would have to go and look all this stuff up. And what I did was just gave them a lecture in Japanese, meaning I'm speaking something they don't quite understand, versus me taking the time to speak to you the way I hope, no insults, that you can understand it. That way I can bring you to where I'm at. You get where we're going? There's a big difference in between the two. Just
Yeah,
because we watch hold on, let me throw one more. Just because we watch Michael Phelps swim, don't mean he's the one that taught us how not to drown. You need somebody to teach you certain things. Go ahead and think without any experience, you can jump your ass in the ocean and go swimming against some currents. Ain't no lesson in that.
No, yeah, I got that. But any teacher gonna have methodology within them anyway. Or it's just like Sean said, it's just somebody on here spewing information. Now, if you are a student, you can be able to tell if somebody just spewing information or they actually teaching you shit. You know, you may not be able to tell right away. You know, a lot of us, we used to watch SETI all the time, all the videos, Sean, Kofi, me, I still do sometimes. But it's like, I know the shit that he's saying, he just spewing information. So at this point, it's comical to me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a true teacher in Wujao, in in Asar, all the people that I named, they breaking it down for you, man, via lecture, Sean. I'm gonna keep beating it in there, you know, via class, Google Hangout, whatever. That's just my opinion, man. And everybody, I don't expect everybody to see shit how I see it. I went to school for psychology. I know everybody perceive things different, but the way I perceive it is, you know, I'm gonna be able to discern it. And a lot of us, we was on here trying to learn metal netterman. We was talking to the wrong people. Kofi had an instance, Sean had an instance, I had an instance, Emmy, all of us. But you know, it takes the mistakes for you to learn. Now, this person taught me not to go to him, go to him. That person taught me that. So in a sense, he's my teacher because he's like, okay, he taught me to discern and say, okay, this was wrong over here. So I learned a lesson from that man. You know, a good lesson and a bad lesson. A bad lesson can turn into a good lesson because you know not to do it again if you ain't hard headed. You know what I'm saying? So my views on it is just a little different. But I definitely understand y'all point. And I respect y'all point. Sean, my brother, he know what it is. So yeah.
All right. Anybody else got anything, man, in the chat for I end the stream, man? I was trying to look in the chat, see if anybody.
I can see the chat, and I see Danny out there. Nah, I'm not gonna tie nothing in on the Cimarrones, Danny. I could, but I ain't gonna do that. That's just my little giggles at him.
Yeah.
But Satep, I'm with you, and I totally understand where you was going. I just, I'm glad that happened because the object of this is to create a teacher moment to get brain stimulated and thinking. So we needed all those perspectives. You absolutely right. So
Right. Yeah, and it's all done in love. I get a little hot like Shine sometimes, but y'all know it's all love, man.
yeah, I'm still waiting on the day you teach me how to break down all the names.
You gonna call
Hey
me?
man,
You gonna call me?
Satep is the cussing scribe. Don't let him get out here without cussing.
Yeah.
Y'all slid that in there.
Reply. Yeah, man. But we finna get out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. We really appreciate it, man. Appreciate those who joined the panel. Satep, Vasa, June, Sean, brother Sanel. Always a pleasure, brother. That's it, man. I guess we'll see y'all sometime. Maybe we'll come back today on Kofi Piesie TV. Maybe we'll come back through the middle of the week on Kofi Piesie TV. But appreciate everybody. Please subscribe to Kofi Piesie TV. Please subscribe to Monster Warrior Clan. Please subscribe to the Seshuma Ani Metanetra. Please subscribe to Amara Squad. Please subscribe to MBK. Those asking you to subscribe to those channels. Those are the channels that I guarantee that they are gonna work hard to bring you the most accurate information as possible, without all the shenanigans, foolishness, and bad character. 2020 is coming up. I want to say death to all the pseudo platforms. I hope 2020 we're able to leave those pseudo platforms alone and focus more on the platforms that are actually trying to teach, bring you information, show you good character, and genuine, and not trying to scam anyone for money and etc. So on that note, I want to say Black African Power. I want to say Dua Duau, Modupe. And we'll see y'all sometime in the next couple of days or so, man. Peace, man. We out.